Why the atomic bomb led to peace between the great powers. The atomic bomb is a special kind of weapon. It is special in that it is a weapon that can put an end to wars between great powers, and countries that have the atomic bomb will no longer be at war with each other. Why is this so? You may have heard the expression, war is the continuation of politics, which means that war is a means to an end that is subordinate to the goal set by politics. But in order to achieve political goals, one prerequisite is that the means of war itself must be controllable. If I have an ultimate weapon in my hands, and I cannot control its power at all, it means that I cannot achieve any negotiable political goals with the atomic bomb unless I want to destroy my opponent genocidally. This creates a peculiar situation between two major powers, in which no one can be sure that the one who is disadvantaged in a war will not use the atomic bomb in the event of a fight. Once the atomic bomb has been used, all the political objectives that the war was intended to achieve are nullified, rendering the war in the first place completely pointless. So the atomic bomb became the weapon that ended the war between the great powers. You can see that the wars that have been fought since the atomic bomb were basically conventional wars between small countries that didn't have the bomb. So what were the big powers doing? Quite simply, small countries are manipulated as proxies to fight wars on their behalf in certain hotspots. When the big powers can no longer engage in hot warfare, in order to be able to rally the smaller powers to their side, they engage in a fierce battle of ideas in the field of ideas, the central theme of which is where the fate of humanity lies. Through this battle of ideas, they forged their own camps and rallied more small nations to their side. So the international order entered the era of the great camps of the Cold War. In addition to its effect on the form of warfare, the advent of the atomic bomb caused another important change in the international order, namely that the nation-state, on the scale of the usual European countries, was no longer a viable political unit. For, although the atomic bomb is unlikely to be used practically on the battlefield, in principle you have no guarantee that people will not use it. The nation-state does not have enough strategic depth to almost cripple the whole country with a single atomic bomb, so a viable political unit in the age of the atomic bomb would have to be a political community on an imperial scale. If you look closely, you will see that there is a proportional relationship between the development of warfare technology and the size of the political body that is best suited to survive. For example, in the Cold War era, warfare techniques such as the lance and the heavy cavalry were adapted to a political body roughly the size of a manor or feudal lord. In the later hot weapons era, the machine gun and tank were adapted to a body politic roughly the size of a nation-state. Once the technology of the atomic bomb was developed, the size of the nation-state could no longer be sustained, and an imperial scale was required. On the one hand, the destructive power of the atomic bomb exceeded the capacity of a polity the size of a nation-state, and on the other hand, the greater the destructive power of the technology of warfare meant that it was a more advanced and complex technology, which in turn required a more complex division of labor in society to sustain it. And such a complex and elaborate modern division of labor in industry would hardly have been possible without a large-scale polity. All of this meant that the age of empire was upon us,